All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is going to be a quick lesson on this video here, which is entitled, Why It Took 50 Years to Make the CV mRNA jab. Alright, and what I found interesting when watching this video is that they said that it took 50 years to make this type of jab, right? And that it was made, and that we had it created perfect. Like as soon as it was made, it was lucky that it was made just in time, because that's the time that the CV-19 pandemic came out. But I find it very interesting that as soon as it's made, now all of a sudden there's a pandemic, which obviously shows you that there's more to this than meets the eye, and there's more to this than it would seem. All right, which is why certain things are being forced on people. All right, if anything is a good idea, you don't ever need to force it on people. All right, you don't ever need to be forced on people. Just like how I can prove a quick point, when the Israelites are in their kingdom, they ain't going to need to be forcing people to keep the laws. People are going to come to us. This is Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So the Israelites are not going to have to force people to keep the law, although we will be pushing out the judgments that according to the law if people break the law. But people are going to understand that we're wise and understanding people, because they're going to see what beauty the law has brought out in us. And I'm going to just quickly go to one more scripture and show that all of this stuff that's being done is to push the mark of the beast, man. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And let me quickly go back to this video and see if I can find a particular point.
When the COVID-19 pandemic began, researchers and public health experts warned us that the earliest possible window for a vaccine would be the end of 2020. They also cautioned us that vaccine development takes time, and it could be much longer than that. But in the closing weeks of the year, 2 vaccines, one from pharma companies Pfizer and BioNTech, one from Moderna, began rolling out in some parts of the world. They weren't the first worldwide, but they were, in a sense, the first of their kind. And like Babe Ruth calling his shot, it seems a little like the experts knew how this was gonna go. And that's because a technology decades in the making was first of their kind. And like...
You see? They said it seems like the experts knew how this was gonna go, because this was a thing decades in the making, which is obviously planned then. It's obviously planned.
Babe Ruth calling his shot, it seems a little like the experts knew how this was gonna go. And that's because a technology decades in the making was finally able to rise to the occasion just when we needed it most. This...
See, now unless you're a bit slow, you'll have to question this. Something's made just in time. Let's go back to how he worded it.
Knew how this was gonna go, and that's because a technology decades in the making was finally able to rise to the occasion just when we needed it most. This...
Exactly. And I'm not gonna carry on playing the whole video. Brothers and sisters can watch and can find this for themselves. It's by the SciShow, and the title's where it is, so you can read it. You can type it in and find it on YouTube. But I'm just going to go to one more scripture, man. Back to Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And Esau, he's going to push this stuff heavy until he gets people exactly where he wants them, and until ultimately he can enforce the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.